It is party time, Mom. You know what time it is. Welcome back to another episode of the Chad Prather Show here in the mothership of Studio 22. And we are into a brand new week. I hope you guys will go over to YouTube, subscribe, watch it there, hit the little bell. Whoa, ring my bell. And so you get the notifications whenever there's a new video that pops up. Go to where podcasts are offered. Tell your friends about it. Also, I learned something this past week, and that is if you're on a mobile device and you go to Apple Podcast, if you will go to our show, The Chad Prather Show, just look it up, the main page, and scroll with your finger until you can't scroll anymore down at the bottom. There's a place that says rate and review. I learned that. I knew that, Candice, Queen of the Ethiopians. I knew that once upon a time, but I had forgotten.
And now people have no excuse to leave us a 5-star review.
5-star review.
Yeah.
Only 5
option.
stars.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I said this in the deal last week where I said we only take 5-star reviews. I say it all the time. We don't believe in lower reviews. Mm-hmm. We only do 5-star reviews.
There's not even an option to give lower than 5.
It's only 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
That's what we deserve. And somebody said, you need to humble yourself because maybe you're not worth 5 stars. And I'm like,
I'm sorry.
Get off my podcast, lady.
I'm sorry for leaving that comment.
Candice. Oh, don't get yourself fired, girl.
No,
Too
never.
early.
Never.
All this nonsense.
Only 5-star reviews.
Only 5-star reviews. Tell us what you think about the podcast. I like to go in there and see those things just because I like to go over to Instagram, post them in the stories, things like that. It's a good thing. I have fun doing the podcast. I enjoy doing it. I get tired of my own voice. But I'm watching. I watch these, and people don't understand. They're like, Chad, how are you watching this podcast for? We're watching it right now live. Well, because I taped it this morning. Yeah. Or yesterday, or
it's kind of funny because we're all like 6 o'clock hits, 6 o'clock central, and we're all individually in very different places, but we all kind of stop and go to YouTube and watch it.
And it says Candace Ortiz is watching. I like it. Sometimes I see that Bougie Sean is watching. Sean Foster, Party Foul Steve, over in the Peanut Gallery. Hey. Bougie Sean, Party Foul Steve, boys, has there been any headlines in the news in the last week that have changed your life?
Yes.
Seriously, changed your life in any way, shape, or form?
Right here in the palm of your hand, you have an iPhone, and now you can open your garage door with your phone if you have the right garage door.
I've been doing that for months.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have the right garage
That's
door.
not a headline.
Oh.
A headline.
That's local headlines.
I sometimes wonder about you. Like, I try to figure out what's going on in your head. I want to know if there's a headline from the news from the last week that has specifically changed your life, where you live.
Okay, Trey Gowdy, South Carolina, former guy, South Carolina. What was he? Senate, Congress, something?
This started out so well.
Well, anyway, he said the
Trey
only
Gowdy.
thing that, Trey, he says the only person that learned anything from the Mueller report was Mueller.
Well, that's probably true. I said the silver lining, I said on Twitter, the silver lining of the Mueller report is finally Robert Mueller got to hear his own report because didn't have a clue. But the reason I bring that up is, isn't it interesting how bent out of shape we get over news headlines and stories that come out, and it really hasn't changed our life one bit. No. Like where I live, so they had a Mueller hearing in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill. Didn't technically change your life, Candace. It didn't do anything. Is there anything that happened in the news in the last week that really changed your life?
Really changed my life. No, not that I
No, I'm the same dude I was 7 days ago.
Yeah.
So I'm still happy. Still an American.
We're still trucking along.
Yeah, still having a good time. Still getting 5-star ratings. Still doing podcasts, hanging out. But I do want to talk a little bit about last week's headlines because some big things happened. Let's talk about the Mueller report. I always want to call him Mueller. Mueller. So I got. I love Twitter. I have a love-hate relationship with the dumpster fire that is Twitter. So I tweeted last week and I said that, after watching that Mueller testimony again, that, they set this guy up to fail, I felt like he just bumbled through it. I felt sorry for him because here's a guy who has this incredible legacy as a decorated Marine, received a Purple Heart among many other awards. He's a decorated veteran from Vietnam. But his legacy is going to go down as what he looked like in front of the nation last week when he kept talking about things he didn't know. He didn't know, what Fusion GPS was. This is not a good look.
Do you think he was lying or he just didn't know?
You think he's just being aloof and just being like, all right, use it against me if you can, but I'm not.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
I would hope not. When you're talking about something of that major, in terms of the consequences that it could cause to the country, I would hope not. But to me, I watched this thing and, everybody came back at me and said, well, you need to read the report. Well, I have read the report. And, when the guy that supposedly wrote the report, he looked like, and I love one of my favorite memes I saw was, he looked real confused and he was looking through the report there and somebody said, this is what it looks like when your mother wrote your book report, but your teacher asked you what the book was about. So that's the way I came across this Mueller testimony, because it was as though he were hearing it for the first time and then asking him certain questions specifically to the degree of, why haven't you investigated XYZ? And he said, well, that's beyond my purview. He kept saying that's beyond my purview. No, that's exactly your purview. That's exactly what you were supposed to do for the last 2 years.
But it was a gift to the Republican Party in a sense that, every time the Democrats tried to make him look dumb or tried to make a point, he just looked dumb, and it was just like.
Well, you guys know, and I'll say it for the sake of the listeners, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I've never registered with a political party. Okay, I try to keep an open mind. I tend to be socially a little more liberal. Fiscally, I tend to be a little more conservative. I don't think with the division that's going on in the country, there's anything you could parade out there right now that's going to change. People's minds are made up where they stand. People either if you hate Trump, you hate Trump, and the vitriol that's out there. And look, and I go against, I tell the conservatives that are out there, you're not helping your case by jumping on social media and blasting everybody every time. But I had this guy, because I did use the word bumbling when it comes to Robert Mueller, because let's face it, he bumbled.
He was bumbling.
He bumbled. So I had this guy who, he does Marines Against Trump page, and he jumped on there and he was talking about he was going to break my jaw if I was ever within earshot of him. And I said, called a decorated Marine bumbling. And of course, then it turned into and I was like, well, now do General Flynn, And so, I would post things like Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald was a veteran. But what are you going to do? Can we not talk about Lee Harvey Oswald? What about the 16 Marines last week that got arrested for human trafficking and things like that? Just because you're a Marine, because you served your country, doesn't mean. What about Anthony Sowell, who was a Marine, a decorated Marine, and then became a serial killer? I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, just because you served your country, thank you, but you were still bumbling.
Yeah.
You were still bumbling. And that's unfortunately going to be his legacy. But I loved it. There's some guy, and this guy was all roided up, and he's like, I'm all natural. I was like, bro. You got nuts like peanuts, kid. You got little cashews right there in your little tighties. Steroids. You punk ass. Some guy commented and said, how close do I have to be within earshot? I'd love to be there. He goes, I'll come say it to you. Twitter's a dumpster fire. It is. But is it changing anybody's minds? No. Not a single soul. I mean, at this point in time, you have Adam Schiff, who says that undeniably he has evidence that Trump colluded with Russia, but yet he hasn't pulled any of that out.
I was going to say, where's it at?
All you got to do is resign now, Adam, because what are you going to do? I mean, you've said beyond the question of a doubt, you had evidence that he did it. He said that for over a year now. He has nothing.
I think Mueller secured his job for the rest of his time. Trump's in office, though. Trump's not going to fire him.
He's not. He doesn't have a job. I mean, it was an assignment.
Yeah.
And anyway, we could beat that thing half to death, and everybody watched it, or everybody got the sound bites. You can form your own conclusions on that. What was your takeaway, Candace?
I thought it was kind of like a perp walk that backfired. Like, how they do that when they already know that somebody is being sentenced, and then they'll call the media in to get like their last pictures as they're walking in the court. So they already knew what they were trying to do, but it just kind of backfired because it was a lot of stuff we'd already heard and nothing bombshell, but all the reports were saying that it was like a day in history. There was one woman who waited 14 hours in order to get into the hearing. there was like a line of people who wanted to be in the courtroom. And so one woman waited 14 hours and they were kind of gathered out there.
That's
And so
insane.
it was kind
Sweet
of crazy.
Lord, it wasn't Justin Bieber.
Exactly.
Why are you waiting to
14
see that?
hours.
Why you wait for
14
anybody? Why
hours.
you wait for Justin Bieber? Like, why you wait? Come on, people.
Yeah, 14 hours in line
That's ridiculous.
to be able to be inside the room.
I mean, this
on
isn't the new Star Wars we're
the-
waiting to see. My gosh.
the
It
historic
ain't
day.
barbecue. Or wings.
This ain't barbecue and fried chicken.
It ain't
Franklin's
fried chicken.
barbecue?
This ain't fried chicken.
It's not Franklin's barbecue in Austin.
And I still wouldn't wait for that either.
I ain't waiting.
Yeah.
I ain't waiting 6 hours for Franklin's barbecue. Not when I can go to Billy's Oak Acres Barbecue on Camp Bowie in Fort Worth and get better barbecue.
I go
just
to
looking for
McDonald's and I get
sponsors.
food. I don't need to wait for food.
We're gonna do a podcast at Billy Oak Acres Barbecue over on Camp Bowie. We're gonna go over there.
Audio's going to be good.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
I need some food right now.
You hungry?
Yeah.
Screw it. We're out of here. Let's get off this podcast. So the other thing that happened, it's not, again, didn't change anybody's mind. Didn't change anybody's mind. They watched it. They went into it. I felt like the guy got eviscerated. He got eviscerated. Chance, the ginger rapper, sitting over here. Mark's not in here today. Put yourself on there. Did you watch this thing? Did you get the sound bites? I mean, you hear so much news because you do so many different shows for the Blaze. You got to be tuning it out, right?
Yeah, I don't pay attention.
Any opinion whatsoever on that deal?
No, not at
No,
all.
okay, good. That's what I kind of figured. You're high right now, aren't you, Chance? You're high.
Yeah.
I love you, kid. Oh. Everybody's got the giggles. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you think Trump wins in 2020? I'm going to ask you again. Because it changes every week. Like, in light of the Mueller, does it help him or hurt him, or does it even make a difference?
I don't think it made a difference.
Doesn't make a difference.
So still a landslide.
Doesn't make a difference. I don't think
I don't think it's
so.
gonna be a
Like he's-
landslide, but I think he's still gonna win. I mean, as long as the economy's doing well, and I think that's where a lot of people are concerned. And if people are concerned, like what's gonna happen with the economy in 4 or 6 years, and I think if the economy still stays the way it is, he'll do okay and he'll get in. But after that, the question is always still gonna be what's gonna be wrong with the economy.
Well,
That's my
if
concern.
historical trends go the way they usually do, we got about 18 months of good economy left before some things recede a little bit. Hopefully
Yeah.
we don't go into a 2009 recession.
Yeah,
But that gives him time to get reelected. So we'll see what's up with that.
that's what I think.
Steve doesn't care.
Oh, I do care.
I hope so. Because recession means people can't come to our shows.
That's right. Let me
And
tell
me and you don't get
the
paid.
turnout has been great.
It has been
It
great.
has been really great.
I can't wait. I have this huge new announcement that I'm going to tell you guys in the next couple of weeks. I can't wait to tell you. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be it's huge. It's huge. It's bigly huge. It's going to be a badass little announcement. And exciting stuff. Anyway, Erica Thomas, congressperson from Georgia.
State rep.
Reason I'm hesitating on this is because I have a document that I'm not sure that I should share.
Is this going to be a Glenn Beck special?
It is her
Okay.
House profile for the Georgia House.
Okay.
And it is basically her biography as known by the horse, as the House, okay? The Georgia House. Yeah, the horse. Speaking of horses, asses, she made one of herself last week with this whole video that she posted out saying that a guy in a Publix grocery store attacked her, made racist comments, told her to go back, and called her an SOB, lazy SOB,
Over the amount of groceries that they
Groceries
both had.
in the
In the
express lane.
Express
He
lane,
just said
exactly.
what everyone else wants to say when they see somebody in that lane designated for 15 items or less.
It's like
Yeah.
a Seinfeld episode.
Go back to
Well-
your country.
Like,
Yeah.
Go back to your other lane. I don't care what color you are. Go back to the right lane.
Well, again, so okay, here's what we know. Here's what we know at the time of this taping.
Oh my God.
All right, in the next few days, anything could happen, right? Next few days, anything could happen. And again, when I say the next few days, they've already happened, and you're still watching this tonight on a Tuesday night. So here's what I want to know. Well, here's what happened. So this lady's in the express lane. A guy checks out in another lane. He'd been in that lane. He goes to another lane, checks out faster than her, comes back by and says, hey, this isn't the way it's supposed to be. And she comes out of her lane, and you can see it in the store surveillance cameras. And she's going at him, right? Now, what they say, we don't know because there's no audio. But you can see she's all, Wheezy Jefferson on him. And so then the news crews catch up with him, right? Because she backtracks on her own, does a video. It says, well, I mean, I'm not saying he said go back where I came from like that, but it was just something about go back to what,
It was implied.
It was implied. So now she was backtracking on that. And they did the news cameras, and they're interviewing them there together, and she's talking about hate crimes and he going to jail and blah, 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 blah. You did this. And he said, ma'am, I'm not white. Because she called him white. A white man said that. He said, I'm not white.
He's a Democrat and a Trump hater.
He says, I don't like Trump. I'm a Democrat, and I'm from Cuba. So I'm Cubano. But he says, but I did call her. And I think he wanted to again. So
yeah.
He admitted that. So now here's my takeaway from this whole deal. One, she's claiming the guy is a racist. So by her own admission, Democratic people who are Cubans can be racists. Follow what I'm saying, Chance the Rapper? You hear what I'm saying? So
take sides, Chance. Take strong sides.
So Democrats can be racist, according to Erica Thomas. That's what she said. She called him a racist. Said he with all. So this guy says, I don't like Trump. I hate Trump. And you can hear the cop on his body cam saying, look, I don't care about the politics, not getting into all that stuff. I just want to find out what happened. And she's looking like a fool. Now, Candace.
Yes.
Is it a hoax? Was she lying? What is your opinion?
My opinion on it?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of been blown. It's like crazy been blown out of proportion right now. I don't think that would be a normal reaction for someone in that situation. Like, I know when I'm at the grocery store, I'm just focused on getting in and leaving as fast as possible. Mm-hmm. So, I don't really see the importance of it, but I do. The surveillance footage is kind of weird.
So, she's 9 months pregnant, according to her. Mm-hmm. Her Facebook page says she's single. No judgment. No judgment. Her 9-year-old daughter was there with her.
Right.
And said, why would you say something like all these things in front of him? So anyway, her biography. The Honorable Erica Thomas is taking a fastidious global approach to the economic and environmental development of the world. As an innovative trailblazer and entrepreneur with a passion for inspiring others, she's founded 2 nonprofits focused on public speaking, leadership and development training, advocacy. Speak Out Loud, a local nonprofit, is dedicated to giving a voice to the foster children who have been silenced by their circumstances. Speak Out Loud has expanded and organized across the country that has chapters in Botswana and Nigeria. That sounds great. She is not only the youngest Georgia State rep. She's one of the youngest members in the General Assembly, but she's also the first orphan that's ever done that. So the thing I'm getting to is it's a shame that if it is a hoax, that somebody would come along and do that, create that, and really tarnish what could be a great legacy and reputation as an accomplishment as a single mom, a woman of color who does these things in Africa, who's an orphan and has lived against all odds. Why do you feel, it's like Jussie Smollett, why do you feel the need to create this idea that this institutionalized racism exists out there in order to get attention? Let me tell you something. Imagine that scenario that happened, a confrontation between this lady and this man. Mm-hmm. What if this was 1955 Jim Crow America? How would that have played out? Do you think that this woman of color would have jumped out of the lane? First of all, she probably wouldn't have been in that grocery store. Second of all, even if she was, she probably wouldn't have been in that line. 2, you think she would have confronted a white man, a guy that she perceived as a white man right there if this was 1953, 1955? No, because we have gone a long way from those days. We don't even register how it was in the early 60s. The between racial segregation and racial relations and things like that. Why in 2019 do people have to go out and try to create this idea that it still exists so prevalently? It doesn't.
It's almost like someone that identifies with their illness, and they kind of use that. That's what makes them.
Well, it's a victim
Yeah,
mentality.
a victim mentality.
It's a victim
And
mentality.
Without that,
And it doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter. You can have a victim mentality no matter what. I mean, if you're going to spend your life navel gazing, thinking about how people are thinking about you and looking at, it's just ridiculous. I mean, here's a woman who obviously she's an elected official. She's accomplished a ton at 29 years old.
I think where the guy messed up, he went to the manager first, and the manager told him, "Well, there's nothing we can really do about it because you really can't."
Well, now, first of all, I want to say to this little pinhead, shut up, mind your own. I mean, seriously, do you need to go around, like when I tell you when you're driving, like Steve has road rage, Chance. I don't know if you know this or not.
No.
Steve has real issues with road rage. So, like, if Steve hears a horn honking in the distance, he thinks it's about him. So triggers him.
But I don't flip them off.
But you get mad.
He rolls down the
He
window.
rolls
and has
up
a
his
civil
shoulders, he
discussion.
leans
Say,
forward.
who the are you honking at?
Exactly. Every time. Every time. Who the F are you honking at? Doesn't have anything to do with him. And all of a sudden, if somebody, like, let's say somebody's driving crazy up here in this lane and they cut somebody off, Steve automatically wants to catch up with them
And cut them off.
just to see
No,
if they'll cut
I
him
don't
off.
I don't want to.
Like, he wants to catch up there and be like, okay, now piss me off. So, like, he tries to put himself in a position to get pissed, right? So that makes sense to you, Sean?
Oh, I've seen it.
You've seen it. You've been in the car.
I've witnessed it.
Now, see, you got to have witnesses around Steve because Steve will deny it. He'll justify anything.
And nobody else wants to drive.
He just
No,
wants to.
I don't know. I mean, I ain't complaining to that
okay.
degree. I mean, you still gonna drive. But I'm like,
drive-
Steve, why
you
you want to
drive my
take us
black
up there
butt
and get
around.
us in this wreck? I mean, like, this is going down, right?
The truth is, I'm doing a survey to find out if it is an Asian female woman driving, or if
survey?
it's an old man, or I want to know by their driving style.
Why do you go to
if
Asian female right away?
You know
Yeah,
why?
let's
Hey,
back
you
up
know
a little
why?
bit.
Okay.
He wants to drive up to him and tell him to go back where it came from. That's what he wants to do.
Steve's conducting research for the Gallup polls.
Yeah.
I'm doing a poll.
Yeah, he wants to know if
Just
they're
wanna know
watching
their
cable TV.
demographics.
Hey,
Try
you
back
got
to
a Nielsen
China
rating?
in
Oh my gosh, Steve, you
You know,
come
if you
up
see a
with some.
car drive by with good-looking rims, you want to go, "Who's driving that?"
I don't have rooms on my
Do we?
car.
Let's sit back and watch this conversation unfold.
Where did I don't have
This
rooms
is going
on
to
my
get playfully dangerous. So let's
You're Jamaican though. They don't put rims on your car. Chinese Jamaican at that.
I'm getting ready for a time code at some point in here.
What is
Oh, no, I'm out of this, Candice. I'm out of this one. Y'all go ahead and talk about it.
about what?
Is that
a live
okay? Let me
dumpster
ask you
fire.
that: Is stereotyping racism?
No, I
And we
don't
make
think it
jokes
is.
about- I
It's
mean, is it-
stereotyping is stereotyping. Stereotyping is based in fact. Is it a good thing? No.
Well, that would be like saying every white
it's not
guy
racism.
is racist.
Huh?
Every white guy is racist. Like last week, the Ilium Omar, they pulled up some old stuff, and the biggest threat against America is
Okay, well,
the
I'll say
white
this.
man.
I'll say this. So the majority
it.
of Somali Muslims have been taught from childhood that Jews are bad. All right? That is a stereotype. There are derogatory terms they're taught from childhood. That's a known fact.
Yeah.
Look, I've been in these countries. I know. They don't think about this the way we do in America. We're politically correct and woke, right? They're not thinking about this stuff in Somalia. That's their culture. That's the way they live. See, we try to apply the way we think about things, but that's a stereotype. Is it right? No. So when you look at Ilhan Omar and she comes over here and she says the things that she said, she is repeating things that have been ingrained in her since her childhood. So does she mean these things? I don't know. I tend to think she does. You know, I tend to think that these are the feelings that she has because I don't really like the woman, and I think that there's a lot of crap coming out of her mouth. But this been ingrained. Those stereotypes have been ingrained. I always say stereotypes are great. That's why we go people watching. We go to the mall. We go to the airport. We go to the bus station. Sean.
Yep.
We go to the. We go. Where else? We go to the. Where were we talking about? I was talking about somebody people watching yesterday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Go to Walmart.
Airport's great for
Go to Walmart.
people watching.
Go to Walmart and people watch for a minute, man. Just sit on the bench
Friday
out there with
night.
the gray head person that's greeting people and just watch people come and go. It's a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't it,
Fun.
Shawnee?
It's a great stereotype session.
Yeah. But are stereotypes right? No, they're not, but they are human nature. But the stereotypes are built in fact. Just like you said a second ago, if I see somebody with some kind of rims on there, I mean, am I going to be surprised if it's a black guy driving the car?
Or a Mexican. This
Or
is
a Mexican?
Texas.
If
Like
I
in
see somebody
Dallas.
with rims and
He'd have real
hydraulics,
skinny tires.
I don't have rims on my car. I've never. That's a different culture. That's a car culture.
if I see a guy in Denver and he's driving a Prius, I'm going to assume,
He's a hippie.
I mean, whatever.
Well, that's what I'm trying to learn here. I'm trying to
But you can't learn off a stereotype.
It's too late for you, Steve. You can't learn.
You can't learn from
You're an
a
old
stereotype.
dog, dude. There's no new tricks for you.
But does that make me racist? Because I
don't know, does it?
I don't think so.
Do you feel like you're racist?
Do you feel like you're racist?
I don't feel a need to defend that.
Do you feel a problem sitting next to a man of color?
I love him.
That
Yeah,
has
I
rims?
know.
That has big shiny
I'm sitting
rims.
next to a woman of color. Chance is red.
Gingers don't count. They don't have souls. I learned that from South Park. That's maybe stereotyping, but, no souls.
I've heard that, and I think that is founded in truth.
I mean, look at
and
him.
if we're talking
He's just sitting
stereotypes,
there with
I know he doesn't. He doesn't emote. Chance has no emotions. He has no feelings. This guy he'd murder indiscriminately. He doesn't care because he doesn't have a conscience. And there's no thought right, Candace?
Right.
You know this man.
Yep.
All I'm saying
no
is
feeling. No feeling
All
whatsoever.
I'm saying is, it's party time, Mom, and that's the big deal. Stereotypes, and I've had this thing all the time. I get so sick of talking about racism, man. Can't we all just get along?
Eat fried chicken.
Eat fried chicken. Me and Sean eat fried chicken
No, that's
together. We love it.
stereotyping. I saw y'all go back and forth on Instagram.
On
a little bit.
Instagram, Sean was trying not to eat fried chicken for a week, and he knows that's impossible.
It is impossible.
And why is
I
that?
can't.
Because I like wings and fried
We
chicken.
eat chicken together. You
We
know
do
this.
it all the time. I had wings last night, but I don't consider wings to be fried chicken.
Well, I told you that it was, and that's why you're wrong, Sean.
They do fry them. They just don't
It's
bread
not,
them.
but
and
it's
fry
not
'em.
fried. But when I say fried chicken, I'm
You
talking
mean
about
breaded,
like
country fried chicken.
Yeah, wings is just
Now I
you
want
dip it in a
some.
fryer and just
What are you taking notes about,
she wants
Candace?
fried chicken
I'm
too.
just, I have a time code, and then just.
There's screw it.
Oh, this is all
stuff.
good.
We're speaking
we're
freely.
educating America. And
You want
people
something
about
to bleep out?
racism, what it is,
No.
and what
You
it's
need
not.
something to bleep out?
No.
All right.
No, I would rather not.
Where's the alien at? Where's
He's over
Ned?
there. He's right there.
Where's Ned? Y'all see Ned back there? Look at him.
He
He's
looks like-
judging.
I think it's a good addition to the studio.
I love Ned.
This is what was missing.
He has more expression
Yeah.
than Chance.
Look, we got Willie. We got Ned the alien. We got the army head back there. You know who we're missing? Herbert the silent deer.
We need.
We got to bring Herbert back. People have been asking about Herbert. We are a diverse studio, is what we are.
We are, and I think.
Culture.
I mean, I don't want to start a rumor, but I think that helmet might be Dwight D. Eisenhower's.
Might be. And it's in Studio 22 for...
Now, look, that wouldn't surprise me being around the studio because there's locks of George Washington's hair.
Exactly. And
There is pieces of the coat that Abraham Lincoln died in
Yeah.
or was shot in.
Yeah, so it's possible that we might have just eclectically.
So here's what I
Borrowed
do.
it?
When I walk through, don't pay attention to me, Glenn Beck. When I walk through Mercury Studios, when I walk through, I like to steal things. And I bring them over here. Like,
And you
look
always
at this.
have gloves and a carbon box
Look
with
at
you,
this.
right?
Look at this. Bam. Look at that.
It's
That's the
upside
seal
down.
of the President of the United States.
It's upside down.
Wait, it's upside down.
There we go.
There we go.
The crazy
are
thing
living
is,
upside
this was
down.
over in Building 1 earlier today, and I saw him walk
Now
in.
it's over here.
I saw you walk in with it, and I knew immediately what had happened.
Yeah.
But I just want to point out, we always wear gloves and have carbon boxes with
Until
us,
it gets over here, and then it's mine. But see,
You're right.
I'm a white dude with a theft problem. There you go.
Can
Understandable.
happen to anyone.
So judge me. Get over there, Willie. Can't do it.
That's great.
You know where this came from? Where this one came from?
On the
You know-
podium.
Do you know where this
out of
was?
Trump's office.
On
This
the
was in the
desk.
movie JFK.
Yeah, it's a movie artifact. That
This is a movie artifact. Kevin Costner's JFK. People think we're lying. We're not lying.
No, I mean
It was shot
everything
here, that's
around
why.
here.
Everything
is-
around here is connected.
every day in the morning.
That's from. Well, never mind.
Every day in the morning, I walk by Dorothy's red slippers and
And the
necklace
heart
from,
of the ocean
Yeah.
from the Titanic,
Necklace
and
from
the
the
and the
Titanic.
wooden chalice
Yeah.
that was from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
We're probably posing a real big security risk right now by.
It's all fake, people. It's all fake. I'm sorry. The actual Darth Vader head from the first movie.
Yes. I remember they acquired that when I was an intern here, and there was an article on the Daily Mail that said an anonymous buyer had purchased it, and then the following week it came wheeling on in.
It was in Glenn Beck's office.
Yeah.
And we were like, we know who it was. That's him.
Oh well,
That's
Gotta love
filthy
him, though.
money. That's filthy money.
filthy money. Dirty money. Beck sat right there in that chair and told me, so, oh, the only thing money changes is how you do air travel.
No.
No.
I'd have a lot of rims in my cars.
You'd have bigger rims?
I'd have bigger rims.
You probably would get the hydraulics. Now, my truck.
I'd definitely get it.
My truck is sitting out there, so it's like a hillbilly disco. We've talked about that because I got the lights on the front, the back, all around. Everything's on that truck except a place to put the front license plate, right? But I even have up in the wheel wells, I got the disco strobes and stuff like that.
okay.
Yeah. Never turned them on.
Quinn said to me the other day, she goes, Daddy, do you have a big car? I said, no. She goes, does Chad have a big truck? I said, yes, he does. He goes, can we drive it? I said, maybe. He goes, tell him to share. Because she's at that phase when she wants to share. I was like, I'll try to pass that on.
Yeah.
I'll share with Chad his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's going to happen.
Quinn can have anything
Y'all
I
can
got.
trade
Yes.
today. You drove the truck today, or the
Yeah, I
car?
drove the truck.
Yeah, y'all just trade and take it for the weekend.
Don't get carried away, Steve.
That's the
You've already got
policy.
my
I thought you
car.
agreed to share.
I know.
Steve is actually
share.
for this sharing policy. Just
You understand what it means to share, Steve?
Yes, I do.
Sharing is one thing. Giving is another thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, loaning is one thing. So many stereotypes. But see, he's gotten spoiled rotten. You want to talk about stereotypes? Party Foul Steve drives my car 7 days a week.
To here, it's parked in my driveway all week. Haven't drove it until I started up and drove it here today.
it's gonna have like 200,000 miles on it.
I only drive to your house or to here. I don't drive it anywhere else. I don't drive it to the store. I don't.
He lied.
like that.
I saw him in the HEB pickup line taking a picture for Instagram in my car.
Well, that one
Did you
time.
call the cops?
Steve's a liar.
Did you call the cops?
No, I didn't call the cops. I knew it was Steve.
I forgot
I
about
don't need
that.
him getting arrested
No,
because I'd have to bail him out.
I'm not a liar. I'm admitting to that because I forgot about it.
Yeah.
After
Which
the
is-
fact.
Now-
I corrected the statement.
Now you're just caught.
Could I borrow one of your cars? Like the newer one?
You want the Corvette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could trust me.
Then they can tell everybody that, can you drive a manual? 7-speed manual?
We can sure as heck try.
Oh, yeah.
Millennials have a little trouble with that.
Okay, see, now you're
Steve,
stereotyping
okay,
again.
Okay.
But
this
I'm not
is where-
wrong.
See, he's stereotyping.
She's
I'm not
Spanish,
wrong.
though.
What was that?
What is that supposed to mean? They
might
can
not-
drive sticks?
She might not know how to drive clutch.
You don't know how?
I don't know how to drive clutch. I'm from
Because you're
New York City.
millennial.
No, because I grew up in New York City. Where are you going to drive a clutch in New York City?
You don't know how
They
to drive
just
a
catch
car.
a train everywhere.
Exactly. Oh, I could drive.
The Holland Tunnel?
You can ask Trance about that. I can drive.
I could ride the bus.
I can drive.
3
Did
point
you
turn
have
in the
a
Holland
driver's
Tunnel?
license when you were 16?
No, I got my license at 26.
Wow. See, that's just, to us, that's like,
And that's what
Can't
you would
even
think of
imagine.
somebody from New York City.
yeah.
That's stereotyping.
Well, but it's true. It's based on fact.
Look at Chance.
that
You
a
think
while
he's
ago.
Irish?
He's not.
I think, yeah.
It's
Are
a-
you?
No.
See, y'all stereotyped.
That's what. And actually, the population of Ireland has a probably lower gingers than we do.
I didn't see any gingers. I was
Yeah,
there for
nobody
8 days.
does.
I saw 2 or 3 of them.
That's a-
and I kept looking for some pretty
That's
ginger
a
girls, and
total
there were none.
fake stereotyping.
Did you check under the bridge?
Is that where they live? Like trolls,
Down there with Rumpelstiltskins.
soulless
I
trolls.
was thinking about leprechauns.
Oh, leprechauns.
Rumpelstiltskins.
Leprechauns.
I didn't see any 4-leaf clovers. I looked.
Did you get your money back?
No.
Oh.
Did you find some
Hey,
whiskey?
you know what? Talk. Y'all talk. Hang on. I'll show you something.
Uh-oh. What has
Oh,
he got
no.
now? He's
The
going after
presidential
something.
seal
Oh,
just-
He's
boy.
going to go over there. And he's going to
we
pull
have to-
something
I'm
out
gonna
of
have to-
something.
we're gonna have to
He's
install a
going into
TSA search.
Fanny Pack of
Let's talk about Jeffrey
Death.
Epstein.
Jeff Epstein. We're getting to
Ooh.
Jeff Epstein.
That
He
guy.
might be dead by the time this one comes out.
Ouch, too soon.
That hashtag
he
body
did-
count.
he
Clinton
deserves
body
it.
count.
You think the Clintons got to him, or he was doing it himself?
He deserves it.
Oh, no.
I got some Irish money here.
He probably has one of. That's
Can
the
we-
type of guy that has an envelope. If I end up dead, mail this to all the newspapers
Can you do
across the country.
a technical fanny pack tour? Tactical fanny pack tour?
Yes. All right. So
This
let me
is what
show
we
you
want.
tactical fanny pack of death. Y'all have heard me talk about it right here.
Is that
Here we go.
R.W. Wimp? Or
Shut up, Steve. So I took all my patches off of it because you know how when it doesn't matter what airplane the president gets on, it's automatically Air Force One. Right.
This is what you're adopting.
Well,
Unless
because
he's
I
on a
took
helicopter and then it's Marine
This
One.
guy.
Did you tell him to die?
Somebody
No,
mute
I
his
said
mic.
this guy.
Oh, golly. So
I
anyway,
need to pronunciate.
for last week's trip, I had to switch from tactical fanny pack of death over to my shoulder bag, my 511 shoulder bag. Okay, so I took the patches off. So it went from this went to Air Force 2. Okay. So anyway, you can make anything cool if you put the word tactical in front of it. That's the theory. All right.
true.
So fanny packs are not cool till they're tactical, right? So I have some Irish money in there. Don't ask me why. That's bail. Now look what I got. Show you what I got.
Flight risk.
I have a SIG 9mm. I have an extra magazine. And hang on. This is my favorite.
Remember that one time you flew with an extra magazine?
Look at that right there, baby. Bam! Come on, get you some! Come on! Stereotypes, baby. I'm a redneck. Look at that. Bam, 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 bam. Y'all ain't watching the video. Y'all don't have a darn clue. Oh, and I got a Sharpie marker.
Ooh, because you got a sign.
In case I got to poke somebody in the eye.
Oh.
Tactical fanny pack of death, baby.
Why don't you about signing
It's
your...
true. Yep. Normally I have my passport in here in case I got to get a quick getaway. A little extra cash. And I keep
Aren't you at flight risk?
Rolaids. Lots of Rolaids.
no Rolaids.
I'm just waiting where like the butterscotch candies are.
There's no butterscotch candies in here. Nothing sweet. And there's a little microphone that I plug into my phone so you can hear me when I talk in the truck. There you go. Tactical fanny pack of death.
Get some
Bam.
candy.
On sale at watchchad.com for $15.99. Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein. Give me my knife. Give me my knife. Let me show you what Jeff Epstein needs.
I don't think we need the knife.
Jeff Epstein needs a little street justice.
I might have to confiscate
it's
the
gonna
tactical
happen.
fanny pack when you
It's
enter
probably
the
happening
room.
right now as we speak. It's going to happen.
Well, okay. So they better be watching that cat around the clock because he's got a lot of info in his brain.
You think so?
Yeah, he knows things about a lot of people. A lot of people. And if anybody's associated with that dude and they're guilty, I don't care who they are, they need to go down. They need to go down because that's sick.
Oh, yeah.
So here's a dude accused of indicted. And by the way, let me remind everybody, they indicted him for, sex with an underage person. Multiple accounts of that, multiple accusations. They found in his apartment money and valuables and a Saudi passport. Okay. So they deemed him a flight risk, denied him bail. He's in jail. They found him in a fetal position in his cell the other day with marks around his neck, which looked like an attempted suicide from hanging himself. Unconfirmed, at least at the time of this taping. Now, by the time this comes out, we don't know. Who knows? And then, of course, hashtag Clinton body count was trending on Twitter for a couple of days. And I ain't saying, I'm just saying, okay? We'll see. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
He's an evil man.
And if you messing with kids, I'm coming for you.
Oh, he's an evil man.
Tactical fanny pack
Even
of
if people,
death.
even his pilot that flew the plane for him. Like if you're gonna do something like that, knowing that this guy's what he's doing, you should get something happening to you too.
They should find you with marks around your neck.
Something. Somebody should diddle him. Send Ned.
Yeah, he
should-
could have made
should-
he could have made a phone call,
Ned needs to
one
diddle
phone
him.
call, and said, "Hey, there's some stuff going on."
Oh, but
Needs
he's
to be
making money.
investigated.
He was making money. I mean, the guy. I saw an article. The pilot said that he has, I think, 14 planes that he had access to. I mean, you're flying around. You're doing some nasty stuff. Where's Ned? Ned, send him in there and diddle him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really similar to, I think it was in the 80s or in the late 70s, North Fox Island, which was, I think, off the coast or off Michigan. And it was owned by this guy who ran like boys' adventure camps, and that's not what it was being used for. And he basically flew in politicians on the island and like a bunch of high-profile people. So it's like very reminiscent of that.
If you got a private plane and you call it the Lolita Express,
Yep.
there's something going on.
Yep.
I don't like it. 26 times Bill Clinton was on that sucker. Most of the times he just got rid of his Secret Service detail.
Has that all been
Yeah.
come out as fact?
There's a fact he's been on it. Just
It's
the
on the
same as, it's just like, and that's what's funny to me is everybody wants to, so I had this guy, he's Canadian. I finally had to block him. You know, I try not to block people on Twitter. Even if they're trolls, I just let them go.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, it just gets annoying. I mean, it's like, oh, God, just stop being a jealous man. You know, just go on with your life. You don't
Is
have
that
to
the
try.
one that's a real cowboy?
There's
that
several.
gets on there and it's
there's-
like-
yeah, there's the dude, he's Canadian, right?
He spends
He's
a lot of time
nonstop.
on Twitter.
Well, he posted this thing talking about, he was trying to make it about Trump, and he posted this meme about flying, when your president flies 26 times with Jeffrey Epstein, there's a problem. And I commented underneath, I said, you do realize they're talking about Bill Clinton, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's Canadian. He's a moron, right? Not because he's Canadian, because he just didn't know.
He's
doesn't
into
know.
politics.
So he comments back and he says, yeah, but it was a capitalist. That's the kind of logic you're getting right there with these morons trying to win an argument. Oh, well, he was a capitalist, therefore he's a pedophile. Yeah, that's a stretch right there, but that's the kind of dumpster fire that Twitter is. So finally, not over that, but finally just yesterday, I blocked like 4 people. He was one of them. I'm tired of you trash. And somebody said, oh, I thought you BlazeTV guys were all open-minded and open to discussion and criticism. I'm like, well, if somebody would give me something that was intelligent, then I would, but if you just are going to sit there and troll and say nothing and just vomit out of your mouth all the time.
Yeah, and that's other people, they justify their existence to troll you, to get, you know what I mean? Without that, they have nothing.
Gets old.
Yeah.
Try not to block them, Candace. Do you ever block anybody?
No, I have yet to block anybody.
Yeah, it's because you're not avant-garde. You're not on edge.
So I need to become more edgy
You
on
got it.
Twitter.
You need to become an angry brown woman. I don't even know what color you
Okay,
are.
we don't have to call it out right now.
Hey, was that Candace? Was that
I
Candace
was trying
we
to
saw
work
in a
us in-
swimsuit on Instagram last weekend?
Not at all.
What? I think
Nope.
it was. Let me go back and look.
No,
You
go ahead and
deleted
pull
it?
up. No,
You
go ahead
delete
and pull up the
post?
picture because
Don't make Candace blush.
on the like.
What were you bringing us into?
I was trying to strike up a brand deal for 23andMe, where we were gonna finally reveal exactly my heritage.
We should do that.
But then
I'll buy it.
we want the sponsorship.
I'll buy the kit. I like 23andMe, though. I think that's what I did. I don't know that I believe in their results, though.
I don't know.
I don't feel that white.
Right. You have some questions,
Yeah.
right?
Some questions.
I don't feel that.
You're like, I don't feel that straight.
You're
You know?
you're off white. You're not like eggshell.
Exactly. It's like my sexuality. I just don't feel this straight. Sometimes I have urges. Hush, Chance.
You want to weigh in,
Andrew
Chance?
Heaton?
I do. Why when I bring up gay things, you talk about Heaton?
Oh, I was just wondering.
That's messed up. You just stereotyped.
Good job, Steve.
You just stereotyped
Well,
Andrew
that sounded
Heaton.
like a
Because
conversation
he
that
dresses
y'all had
fine.
before.
He's a finely dressed man.
When
He's
you
a
guys
dapper
would sit
gentleman.
here,
He's skinny.
Dapper Dan.
whenever you guys would sit here, it kind of looks like two time travelers got stuck.
Yeah, right.
like Bill
Like he
and-
needed
Bill
a
and
monocle
Ted's.
in his eye, and I needed a spittoon.
That's funny.
Something went wrong with the time machine. Like
It's Bill and Ted's. That's funny. That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, I know. I know. I wrote this short story years ago, and I've wanted to develop it into a novel. The character's name was Mason Blake, and here was a guy in like 1870, right? And he's riding out through this canyon, and all of a sudden, gunshots echo through, and the whole thing. He hits the dirt, and he's shooting back, and it's like, and I described this. He's looking, and he's like, it's something he's never seen before. So he retreats into this cave, and when he goes into this cave, he kind of goes through this, like a time warp, and he winds up in the 90s, 1990s,
Okay.
and boom, here's this guy from 1870, 1880. Now he's in the 90s.
Sounds real close to Back to the Future
In
when
the
they go in
same-
the cave. They have the car in the cave, and
It wasn't a time warp.
okay.
But but anyway, so now he's got to, like, think about that. Now there's jet airplanes. Now there's modern technology. There's automobiles. There's all these things. But yet here's a guy who still wants to handle problems like someone would have in the 1870s and has to adjust all that. So anyway, the whole deal. It's about a cowboy time traveler.
Shoot him.
Is this
Shoot 'em,
autobiographical?
Jacob. Huh?
Is this autobiographical?
No, I've never traveled in time.
Oh, wait. Did Jade say last time that you don't believe in air travel?
I
You
don't
wanna
believe in air travel.
Expand on that a little bit?
I just don't believe in it. I don't think it happens.
It's not real.
I don't believe in reality. I don't think we're here. I think we're
Explains a lot.
just plugged into the matrix is what I think. And here comes the
Yes.
comments.
Everything is a simulation.
Everything. Pretty
Everything.
much everything. Now, the 301st fighter jet fighter wing at the Joint Naval Air Force Base gave me their pilot jacket with their insignia and call sign the other night, and I don't want them to hear that because I do believe that they were flying those F-16s the other day. So anyway,
Your beliefs come with exceptions.
the exceptions. I love you guys, and I know y'all are really flying on the edge. Sure. Sure you are.
Flying on
It's a
the
bold
edge.
stance.
I know. I know. Kevin Wade, it drives him crazy. You know, our buddy Kevin Wade, who comes on the podcast every now and then, I keep telling him I'm put him in the hot seat. He's going to have to explain flight to me. I mean, I get it. I get what they say.
Yeah. You just have some questions.
I
Something to
understand
do
the
with
whole
thrust.
physics.
Lift.
Nah, screw it.
That's a different.
No, we got to go. All right. Jeffrey Epstein, he's guilty. Robert Mueller, bumbling. Erica Thomas, lying. Candice,
Yes.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Party
been
Foul
fun.
Steve, racist. Bougie Sean, hungry.
Sums it up.
Chance the Rapper, soulless. Chad Prather, 5-star rating. I love y'all. God bless. Talk to you next time. Bye.